Hello everyone, Michael Anfield here. Thank you for joining me. Today's topic is on abolishing the police. This video might be lengthy, and yes, gonna have to create other videos as well to supplement this one. But let's get into it. Let's try to talk um, about this issue. So basically, uh, Black Lives Movement has created many people talking about abolishing the police. Now, when we abolish the police, we should also abolish governments. And in a society that we're living in today, capitalism or communism, whatever you want to call it, basically cannot cannot abolish the police. We cannot abolish the government, and thus we cannot abolish the police. The only way we're going to abolish capitalism, because capita means head, as in head of livestock, head of sheep, cattle, goats, pigs, etc. And so the only way to abolish police is to abolish the government and abolish capitalism, which is really to abolish all animal use and property status of animals. So that's number one. So understanding that that is the main thing, okay, is to really to stop seeing animals, non-human animals, as property and as food, and of course for anything else. So all the news stories that we're hearing now are coming from one source. It's coming from the mainstream media. The mainstream media is comprised, according to many sources, between 5 and 7 corporations. Okay, I believe it's only 1 or 2 corporations. Now these are mega corporations that own these mainstream media channels. May it be through television, internet, magazine, newspapers, and radio. They all come from basically from these 5, 6, or 7 different mega corporations. So we know that these corporations and these media, mainstream media, fabricate and lie about the news. Fabricating meaning exaggerating these stories. Okay? Exaggerating the statistics, the numbers, all that kind of thing. Now, they work hand in hand with many uh, governmental organizations and other corporations like the CDC, Center for Disease Control, or the World Health Organization, WHO, or NASA, or other organizations. So and also governments lie, steal, cheat, and enslave us. And because they've been doing so for a very long time, I don't know, even before the first governments were kind of established, what we need to realize is that because it's all fabricated and lied, so how can we really know if these stories that are coming out about, this George, I don't remember his name, George something, they got his, police got his knee on his neck and supposedly killed him. How do we know these stories are really true? What we hear and see is really true. We don't. We don't know anything is true nowadays because a lot of things are lied and fabricated. We don't know if the earth is really sphere and round and spinning in space, and we don't know if the dinosaurs are real. We don't know if anything is real unless we've actually been there. And a lot of people lie about things. There are a lot of people in these organizations, employees that are lying, and even individual people that are either lying or fabricating these stories. A lot of them had never even been there, or maybe they were too young to really understand what was going on. And we really don't know what's going on, really, with any history, because history is man's story, his story, history, his story. So we really don't know what's going on. And thus, how do we really know these things are true? These stories are true. So then we come back to the abolishing the police. We can't abolish police unless we abolish animal use and animal property status. We cannot do that because abolishing the police means that we have to abolish the governments and capitalism, and that means we have to abolish animal use and that's not going to happen if people are not going vegan, because abolishing capitalism means that everybody's going to go vegan, and that's not going to happen if people are not going vegan, you know. But that's what needs to happen. So in order for abolishing the police to happen, people need to go vegan. End of story. And what we also need to realize is that people are not questioning things. People are not questioning these stories, these narratives of our culture. They're not. They're basically just following everybody and believing what the government and mainstream media are telling them to be true. That, there's a lot of problems going on, and, basically this whole situation around the Black Lives Movement is really to divide and conquer, to divide us into groups and sects and classes and tribes and countries and political parties and sports teams and all these things. It's basically, we live in a separatistical world. In order to understand our culture, first of all, we have to understand our food system, but we also have to see everything as a holistic one, as in a bigger picture, in a bigger light. Once we start dividing and we start to, all these things like the social justice movements, each social justice movement is, again, separating and dividing us. We have to realize that all the problems that we're facing today stems from the problem that we're facing here, which is that we live in a herding culture. We basically live in a culture that sees non-human animals as property, as food, and as things to be used. Nothing's going to get better until that stops, until that ends. Once we end the exploitation of living beings, then so much will change for the better. So we don't realize this because we are focused on separating and dividing and trying to tackle individual problems when we should be looking at the bigger picture. When we should be looking at the actual problem that is happening today, which is that we live in a herding culture. That's the problem that we're facing. We live in a herding culture. In order to get out of this mess, we need to abolish that. We need to get rid of that completely. So we're not going to abolish police until we abolish all animal exploitation, all animal use, all property status of animals. And I mean non-human animals. So that's it for this video. Thank you for joining me. Please post your comments down below. I could have said much more, but I want to stop there. Please don't forget that you can subscribe to this YouTube channel and to my email newsletter. And don't forget also that get my books, because you'll learn more in my books as well. And that's really about it. Give this video a thumbs up, share it around with all your friends and family. I love you all. Take care.